Okay.
All right. I call to August 8th meeting, 2022 meeting to order. I'd like to welcome the public, administrators, students, and all we have, and all our board members are here tonight. And we'll start with the pledge of allegiance and invocation.
Please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing.
Dear Heavenly Father, bless us tonight as we make decisions for our school as we go forward. Be with our teachers and our students, keep them safe during the year. And just thank you for the grace and mercy you show us each day. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Get a second?
I second.
Been motion and second to approve the agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Again? All in favor? Public participation. Start with that. And then, what we got on
We got 5.
there? All right.
As a reminder for those making public comments, I've been keeping a timer. You get 3 minutes. I'll raise my hand at 2:45 to give you 15 seconds to wrap up. If everybody will please limit to 3 minutes so I don't have to interrupt you, please. The first one is Dr. Sherry Shepard regarding health and safety.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I come tonight to speak on several concerns that I've had over the years with this board. But tonight I want to speak on behalf of some of the lowest people on the totem pole in this school district, and those are our cafeteria workers and our janitors. Our cafeteria workers and our janitors, they work tirelessly throughout the year. They overcome some of the most incredible odds to support the students and the staff in this school district. They are the lowest paid people on the totem pole. They dealt with COVID, they dealt with flu, they deal with every kind of disease or infection that comes into school. And they have to work in conditions that one would consider inhumane for anyone to have to deal with. I am asking this board to consider providing them the financial resources such that they could live. They are human too. Many of our janitors and our cafeteria workers don't make more than $10 an hour. Even if they made more than $10 an hour, when you have to take in consideration that they have a mandatory 11% of their pay having to go to retirement program, it's mandatory, then they don't have much to live on. But just today, I heard a report from a cafeteria worker that literally cried because they have no voice here. They are afraid of Otha Belcher. They are literally afraid and they need their jobs. These people are working not because they just passed the time, but they're working because they got to work. And they're working and they are not being paid any money. And they have to risk their lives cleaning up COVID, cleaning up vomit, feeding the children, coming in contact with everything, and y'all have so little consideration. One lady almost died in the cafeteria last year. She had a heat stroke and a heart attack. And it is sad that she would come back this year to the same environment that she stroked out in, and this board and this superintendent has done nothing. The same cafeteria with no air and no heat last year, they still don't have it this year. That is ridiculous. We are dealing with human lives. These children are our most precious resource. And if we can't deal with the environments of these children, then who else, or why are we here? Our children should not have to suffer through this. And this man should be held accountable for what he has done. You too, board. Thank you.
Amen.
Mr. Edward Duval regarding concerns.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, Dr. Terry, everyone, thanks for coming on board.
Thank you, good to see you.
As we meet again. And I hope you bring that good educational experience with us. That's all, thank you. And Ms. Howard, have got a chance to meet you as we've been talking. And I hope you provide some good leadership to the board as well. I just got a 7-point plan that I think that would help us get out of this situation. And I'm just going to read it as I have wrote it. I don't have a name for it, but I guess we can call it the blue plan. D-O, blue plan, not D-U. School board shall order that school ceases until we get air in every building and every classroom. Parents demand that your children are learning in a safe environment. Heat is a safety concern, not just comfort. And if parents have to, keep the kids home. It's best to have a live child than a dead child. Board, renegotiate your contract with Upchurch. Bring in other HVAC companies and let them work in one building until we get this thing fixed instead of sending our kids to this hot environment. We ain't talking about winter. We just talking about summer. School board, I'd like to see the school board take a vote of confidence for Dr. Belcher. Our community, both east side and west side, has lost confidence in Dr. Belcher. Dr. Belcher, I'm not speaking, I know you personally and talk to you as a friend, I love you as a person, but I'm just speaking on behalf of the kids who are not able to speak. Dr. Belcher, I respectfully ask you to turn in your letter of resignation effective 5 August 22. That was 2 days ago. If parents have to drive their kids to school on routes that's normally the bus who are picking them up, then all of that extra money that you all got from there and bars, pay those parents mileage for bringing their kids to school. For their inconvenience, the way high the gas price is. Pay those parents. Then parents, take note of your board members. Note which ones represent your intent and your interest. Thank you.
Thank you.
LaTanya Thompson, regarding concerns.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Today I'm here as far as being a concerned parent. As far as the air conditioning situation, my son is at the high school, and as well as an athlete. For those students to endure the heat at the school, and then for them to go out and practice, I don't understand how anyone can think that someone can do that. Today I was told how you start is how you will finish. Today Cleveland didn't start off on the right foot. As far as these babies are concerned, when you talk about mine, he did them out hard, that young man. As far as that choice sheet that the students are given to choose their classes, at the middle school, they are able to take Mississippi Studies, and that's another part of that history class. They get a credit for it. He went into the high school with 5 credits. It's a problem for me when he gets to the high school that a history class that he is allowed to take, he can't take it because sophomores have to take it because a lot of them hadn't even taken it or whatever. But what is the purpose of them getting that out the way in middle school? Something needs to change. If I fill out choice sheets, because I did that for him, because I know what I want him to take, and I have that option to choose what it is I want him to take, I don't need nobody going and changing that. I understand with the test scores, that's fine. But other classes, I don't need anybody putting them in anything just for a play class and a play credit. So when it comes to that, if parents have options, children have options, let those people have the choice that they desire to get in whatever class it is that they desire to get in.
All right, thank you.
Fourth one looks like Mr. Ron.
I'm gonna be short and quick. I don't believe I'm hearing what I'm hearing, that y'all got these children in a hot box. I'm gonna ask you all. This man make $100,000, almost $200,000 a year. And you gonna tell me y'all can't put an air conditioner in the school for these children? I'm asking you all, get that done. Don't let it go back tomorrow. I don't care how you get it done, get it done, please. Another thing, my only concern that these children get educated. That's my only concern with these teachers. And as far as the superintendent, if he needs to do his job, let him do his job. Don't have him have to come ask. He's supposed to know his job. Now, if he don't know his job, y'all need to get rid of him for real. So if he's doing his job, don't you all stop him from doing his job. And this year gonna be real good for all children, not just some, throughout this whole year. But I want to say this. Make sure that these children get educated. Get good teachers. If they don't want to teach, send them on by their way. And definitely get that air. Do not send them children back in those classrooms. They can take a day off. Ain't nothing wrong with taking a day off until that air gets fixed. What y'all thinking, man? What is y'all thinking? Man, you know it's 98 degrees, so it's 100 in the building. And y'all just want them to sit there 8 hours. Man, please don't show the people that don't make no sense. Like I say, that man gets over $100,000 a year. And y'all, if his job stopping y'all from getting these children some air, y'all need to get rid of them. Y'all have a good day.
Last one is Mr. Reginald Lucas.
Wow. I didn't even know y'all put my name on the list. How y'all doing?
Hey, Rick.
Good to see you back. Hey, Lou said.
Hi, Rick.
My concern was, and I guess I was kind of disappointed, I don't know, everybody pretty much said what I wanted to know, but when I entered the school yesterday with my grandchild, I didn't know we didn't have no air. That's bothering me. And then I looked on the program, it said classes in the gym. Gym doesn't have an air. I went by the maintenance man, but I didn't catch it. I just want to know how long it's been and what's the plan. So maybe y'all can discuss it and give us a plan. I mean, I'm not here to cause no confusion. I'm here to try to help the situation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So that's my concern.
Thank you, Rick.
That's it.
All right. We'll start off with cabinet update. Well, hello.
Before we do that, let me thank the public for your comments. And believe you me, we're gonna take them into consideration. I got off today and I had, I don't know how many calls from concerned parents about the heat. We will discuss it and we'll get back with you all and give you all, hopefully, you can work together to resolve this situation, okay? But don't think that your words fell on deaf ears. We hear you, okay? Thank you.
Man.
Well, we'll start with the district vision, mission, and goals and values, and 7 fundamentals of the WOOPAC. We have our goals, which is student achievement, positive culture, community environment, engagement, and employee retention. So today was the first day of school. We did school tours. Dr. Farinelli came on tour, and Ms. Holmes came on tour. We always go around to all the different schools and look around and see what's going on. So today was all right. We just had the one issue. We have the issue of the heat, in which we're going to talk about that on down here. Enrollment. Last year at this time, we had 2,742 children. As of today, we have 2,966.
Okay.
So we're up 224 students. And we hadn't even made it to Labor Day. So, after Labor Day, you get an influx of kids. So that's very exciting to see the enrollment going up. And the enrollment went up at every school except Naylor. Naylor was down 8 students. The high school had the most to enroll over what they were last year. HVAC, the issues, like everybody, we have the same concerns, the same ones. The issue is not the money. We have the money with the ESSA money. The issue is getting the material in. All the manufacturers, different manufacturers, we've been calling a lot of people to see, to make sure that we can get the units, but no one has them, because we're all doing the same thing. So what we have done in the time frame, we had an influx of units to go down within the last week and a half. In the last week and a half, everything just started breaking. The middle school was the worst one, and the high school. And so the principals have put together different plans, and to say that the kids, I use the middle school for example, for the middle school, the teachers are moving around to different classes to make sure that they're in cool classes. Like today when we walked around, the gym kids, they were in the library. There were some kids in the teacher's lounge. There were some kids in another teacher's class. So they're all rotating around. And also today we got in 35 portable units. So we ordered 50 portable units. So we got 35 of them in today. Actually, after the board meeting, we're all going to some of the schools that they've been installed in today before school let out. There are certain things we have to do, as I was explaining to the board today. We have an intake valve and an outtake valve. So we have to do something to certain windows to make sure that those valves are going in and out. If we don't do that, it's not going to work right, because it's pumping out the hot air and it's pulling in the other air, so we go through the condenser so we can cool it. Also tomorrow, we're also going to call MDE to see if we can get 63% days for our students, because it normally gets hot around noon, right before noon, so we can get a 63% day, and we cannot get docked for it. I'm going to take that back to the board and talk to them about it once we get all that information. We got a change order for our HVAC situation. We got a change order, meaning that the people that are fixing on the HVAC with all the stuff, they got a change order last week that said that some of the projects are not going to be finished in 2024 due to material, and some in 2023. So we're trying to find multiple ways to get this done. And we're not the only one having this problem, believe me. But I know we're not concerned about anybody else. We're just concerned about us, and we're trying to go around and make sure we can get this done. It's going to take a little patience. It's going to take a lot of movement for us to make it happen. Right now, the middle school and the high school have the most units that are out at this time. Like I said, they were hit the hardest. The principals are here too. We've had people moving around again, like I said, trying to make sure that the kids are not in the heat. There are some common areas that there are heat. Like some halls, they have the heat, but the rooms have air. So sometimes you'll walk in the hall and it's heat, but the rooms have the air. So it's not something that we just sat around on our hands and not done anything. It just happened, a lot of it happened just all of a sudden. And we're working on it.
Mr. Harrington, I know that, Upchurch got the contract.
Yes, sir.
And it was about $5 million contract for you heating and air, right? Because that was installation and units.
Yes, sir.
And this is just old units that have just.
Yeah, 10 years old.
They're over 10 years old.
Yes, sir.
And, but the issue is, Upchurch is ready to install it,
We just ain't got nothing, they don't have anything to install, because every school in America is getting new units. Am I right on that? Because
Yeah.
of how the money had to be spent?
Yeah, and we got different days, we got different years to spend different money. Like, certain parts of money have to be spent by a certain time, so everybody's rushing to do the same thing.
No way to speed it up.
No.
Ms. Delta said that they can handle that.
Okay, I will talk to Terry.
Okay. Ms. Delta is assisting us on the high school. They working on today. ESSA 3, which including the Cleveland Central Middle School and Cleveland Central High School, that's being bid out this week. But we've already received emails stating that they cannot get the equipment in, so they wanna move the complete date up to 2024.
So there's lack of equipment nationwide.
That's correct.
But these portable units that you've got,
Yeah, I've got 54 units.
and they'll be like one classroom?
Yes, sir, one of these classes.
And then, but you've got to build something,
We've got to figure out some kind of way to take the.
put in that window,
The window, that's correct.
so that the window's not open and you got hot air coming in.
That's correct.
Okay.
So the temporary fix will be the portable unit.
Yes, ma'am,
You're gonna reach out to MDE.
tomorrow.
When will we hear back from you?
If we get an answer tomorrow, we'll give you an answer tomorrow.
And we can make a decision when?
As soon as y'all want to.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm giving him a decision to, you know, if that's what we need, they need to be able to make that decision about getting us all together.
If
Because we all know that
We need to go for
It's a
six,
problem.
Yeah.
if 63% day is
We need to go
good
for
health,
days.
then that's what we need.
no, we need a couple days.
And-
6:30.
Yeah, and like Ms. Holmes said, I hear y'all, I understand. We were in the schools today, we've been in the schools before school started. And, we've been trying to figure out different ways. We've made multiple orders for portable units. At first, they promised us that our portable units were gonna be here last Thursday. Then they canceled it. And then they did it again, they told us they would be Tuesday. Well, some came today, so we got some that's coming tomorrow. So we're trying to do our best to move kids around and do what we need to do. It does not fall upon deaf ears at all. We're doing what we can do to make sure that we have all this air and do what we need to do to have school. So it's not something we sat on our hands about and just say, oh my, let's just make them go to school. It wasn't that way.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Granell has a question.
I have a question. Is Mid-Delta the only company that y'all have reached out to for assistance?
We've also reached out to Taylor,
Okay.
Heat and Air, and Church, because they work on our buildings already.
And what about Robinson Electric?
I would think they
Yeah,
would
you
be
know.
in there.
They sell generators,
They don't work on that.
so I know that they might have some sources. I'm just saying reach out to them.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, we reach out to multiple people, that's no problem. I mean, if you have some more resources that we can get and you know exactly that they can get it to us, tell us.
I mean, I don't know, but
Tell
I'll
us.
find out.
I mean, we have gone a lot of places. And anybody here that know people, email us, call us, let us know. Just let us know. But it has not fallen on deaf ears, like you said, Ms. Holmes. We trying our best to get it fixed, we trying to find alternate routes. But if you have something, just let us know.
So let me ask this question about that 63% days. It was my position tonight to make a motion to let's go to to 1 o'clock.
Really wanna find out, do you have to make it up?
No, not if you go to 1 o'clock, you don't. But my question is, do we have to get the permission from State Department? They're not here, they don't know that our children are enjoying.
I think all he's asking for is to contact and make sure that we're not gonna have to make those days up at the end of the year.
We never
Our
had to make
schedule-
up one that we go to 1 o'clock. I don't know if there's some change. We've never had to make up one that
I
we go
just
to
wanna
1
make
o'clock.
those sure. Cause
And
I don't wanna make a promise here.
Hearing,
Huh.
They would rather make it up rather than their children to sit and keep all day now.
But I was gonna suggest, let's postpone school till we get some air. Y'all, it's ridiculously hot. I tell y'all, I feel y'all.
But all of our
Something
schools,
must be
all our
happening
schools
tonight.
are out.
If we only have one school and it's ridiculously hot, I'd rather for all schools to be out than anybody to get sick and we be here alive.
All right, well, let's, oh,
And I'll get back with y'all. As soon as we find out, I'll let y'all know.
And then I'll call you back right away, is what I'm
They're
saying.
called, we get a response.
So the 35 units we got today, when were they going to build?
We have some in the building right now,
When will the rest of them be?
tomorrow. And we're supposed to get another order in tomorrow. We got 15 left, that's supposed to
We
come
got
tomorrow.
50 units posted up.
Right.
Fifty,
When
yeah.
you say 35 here.
15 more.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
That's it.
Really not? Okay, okay.
So, the next one is, community meetings. We have community meetings, set for August 25th of this month. It'll be at Parks, in Parks Library, it'll be from 5 to 6. We have 3 a year, this is our first one. So it'll be at Parks this time. We try to switch different locations. And that's my update, it's the business department.
All right, good evening.
Evening.
Let me give you the financial update. For cash on hand through June 22nd, 2022, district maintenance had a little over 18.3 million on hand. Payroll account had a little over 2.1 million. Accounts payable had a little over 124,000. Food service had a little over 1.6 million. Fund balance, and I remind you through June, since I have not closed out, these are just tentative numbers. Once I submit this and post all of the expenditures and revenues for this month, we'll come back and give you an updated look on how everything closed out for 22 school year. Fund balance, our fund balance ended with a 24.1 million. Last year, this time we ended with an 18.9, so we're up a little bit, 5.1. District, 17.4 million. Last year, this time we ended with a 10.8, we're up a little bit, 6.6 million. Revenues through June, total revenues were 40.5 million. Last year, we ended with a 40.1 million. We are down a little bit, about 488,000, and that's only tentative, so I expect it to be more than what we actually received last year. Statement of expenditures, we spent about 30.4 million through June. Last year, this time, we spent about 37.6 million, so we were down in expenditures, 7.1 million. Any questions?
What, on the audit, is that on the agenda to be approved tonight, or is it, we table that and come back with questions?
Okay. It's not on the agenda. We didn't add to the agenda.
I thought we always approved that. No,
We just got it.
never mind.
All right, thank you.
And, all the other departments we have it, if you have any other questions, that is my update.
I do have a question, Dr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Who would give us an update on Glimpse K-12? We entered that agreement January 1st, and we have yet to hear anything from
Oh,
them.
you're gonna get a report here on the end of August. We met with them last week, I think it was last week, we met with them, and, they're going through a process to get exactly what you asked for, so I can give you their report. So they have to make it so that we can get it. So we met with them last week.
So if there's anything in particular that we would want, we need to
Tell me, so I can tell them. But the one particular thing that you wanted, they didn't have that made, so they're making it, but.
So what we paid from January to July, was that for preparation of, in whatever they're giving us in August?
Mhm.
Another thing would be in our FYI.
No, that's actually gonna be part of y'all presentation about, before the next board meeting. We're gonna have a presentation. for the board. That's the plan.
All right, that's the cabinet update.
Yes, sir.
Can I get a motion to approve the cabinet update?
Next motion.
Good motion, can I get a second?
Second.
Good motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, approval of consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Good motion and second, to approve the consent agenda, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. That day and time, next regular board meeting, Monday, September 12th, 6 p.m. 12. September 12th.
I'm good with it. Lucille?
Yeah.
I make a motion for the next registered board meeting for Monday, September 12th.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approve the claims docket. Are we through the park yet?
Yes, sir.
Maybe.
Waiting on some furniture to come. That's gonna be on y'all next tour in September. Dr. Farinelli.
We haven't given Roy Collins their final
Final.
payment because we're waiting on him to approve the final
We
walk.
got to have a walkthrough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Dr. Farinelli went in there today. It's pretty nice.
It is. You got that?
Oh, but there, you figured out the water leak at the football field? I saw the field down, but it's still kinda high.
It went down, I cut the sprinkler system off over there.
Oh, so it was just.
I got to cut it off, and I told them to be watchful on the water usage. That's up there, middle school and high school. But the high school went up just with the football field.
I know it's it.
That's all I got.
Anybody else got any questions?
I have a question. It has something to do with water, but not that. But I just noticed that a lot of the water fountains were wrapped up. And I know it was because of COVID. But are the principals telling the students to bring, water bottles? The principals that are here? What about students who don't have water bottles?
Are we providing?
Are we providing water for them? Can we provide water?
Yes.
Whoever.
We actually talked about that.
Did he-
We actually talked about that today.
Can the students bring water?
Yes, they can bring water. Okay. They can bring the water. We actually I talked to Mr. Harrington about how many pallets that we have at the warehouse of water. So we're trying to get some water shipped to the schools as soon as we can. We did buy everyone a water bottle last year. We didn't do it this year. I think we have extras in the warehouse, but we did do that. And we went through the process of changing all the water fountains so that you can fill your,
Right.
you know, they have the fillers on them to keep everybody from drinking out of them.
Well, they still covered up.
COVID.
Some of them
The
are.
spigot spout.
Chickens covered up with water.
COVID ain't dead.
Yeah.
We gonna be good, it's still on the ground.
Okay.
All right, sound like they got a handle
All right. Any more questions? On claims docket? All those, your motion approved. How about
I
that?
make a motion.
on it. Second.
You've been motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approval for the business department to update financial policy and procedural manual to reflect the new changes.
We're updating our procedural manual for the, in the amount of, so right now, the current policy says that anything between $5,000 and $50,000, have two quotes, but MBE has updated their amount to $75,000, and we need to be in alignment with their policy, so we're changing that amount from $50,000 to $75,000.
Don't we have the same, aren't we gonna approve it for the school district?
That is
Yeah, I
number-
think it's a policy and then the individual,
That is number 10 for
Yeah.
your agenda. DJEC is policy, that same policy.
yeah.
I guess my question was,
Is it the same?
if we get it for the district, wouldn't that cover the financial department?
It should.
That's right.
The same thing.
Yes.
But I see where you also have the, fixed assets from 1,000 to 500, I assume that's coming from the same, change that, Senate made. So confused there while we were doing it for her to turn around again and do it for the district.
I think it's just customary for us to have it separated on the agenda for the different departments, because number 9 is the same thing, federal program, they have their own manual also.
And you're telling me that the state has gone from 50,000 to 75,000?
Yes.
The bidding threshold.
Yeah.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Been moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approved to have open POs for food service, transportation maintenance to be used in accordance with current purchasing guidelines.
All right, this is just our annual, open POs for these departments because they do have a lot of flexible spending and we have given you what their normally amounts are, in places that they visit frequently. And these are just to make sure that they are allowed to go get some expenditures or be able to pick up some things that's necessary instead of going through a requisition process every time they need to pick up something.
Let me tell you what caught my eye. Not what caught my eye.
Or
Groceries for $10,000 per school, per month.
this is cafeteria.
Who
Yes,
calls
that's
it
food
that?
service.
Now, $10,000 each school for groceries.
Probably paper products and stuff like that.
What do we do? How much we have?
What number
How
is
much
that,
was
please?
last year?
Well, this is food service, so you're talking about they get their paper products and some of their supplies from them.
I don't see which one.
That's a lot of
It's
money.
on the, it's food service, there's,
Weighing us out.
I'm serious.
and these are just roundabout amounts, this is saying that they won't exceed these monthly amounts.
Do we have to use Ransom to find somebody more economical? I know they're local, but I'm asking for
It's absolutely a decision for the department, they could find any competitor they want.
So do they shop around or they just continue to go with the same person year after year?
I would say they do shop around, but I think they also go for who's more local and available to get to.
And then you gotta be on the list,
Procurement for food service.
right. If they're not on that list, I don't think they can get anything from it, can they?
No, not food service, they have to be approved in,
Did we have an open PO for them last year?
no, not for food service. It's, you want a list of items?
No, list of who we could get goods from.
Oh, a list of vendors?
Yes.
Then for food service?
Vendors, that's a good word.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve number 7 there, POs for food service?
I just got a question, that's a lot of money to make for open PO per school.
Well, if you go back through the bills review, that's about what you're going to spend in a year. That's a 12-month period, correct? Or
This is just an allowance for a monthly.
monthly thing, for
Right.
the month.
It's not to exceed this
And
amount.
they're not gonna use every.
So that's $120,000 per school per year. And that's
But they don't mean they're gonna use it. All this is an open PO, if they need something, they don't have to call you the PO every time they need it.
And you just have to bring us itemized receipts.
Saves time.
And then you'll see it on the claims docket each month.
Then I'll
It'll be
send
as
you
an open
$10,000.
PO, $10,000, and it'll show how much each month that they're.
That way I have it.
Yeah, but there's some, never mind.
I just don't know enough about these open POs, and it just don't seem to, how do you, the checks and balances, how do you keep up with that, with these open POs?
They bring us itemized receipts.
It's supposed to.
They have to get
Well,
it
see, I
paid.
have heard about it, I've heard about, states going and auditing, and they see pork chops and stuff on these, and then they don't find the pork chops. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, $10,000 is a lot of money per state. So you're telling me this is where we get our paper products from?
This is for
The
food
gold
department,
plates?
food service department.
So would it be up to the cafeteria?
Need to talk to the lady that runs the
Make sure
cafeteria.
that everything.
Food service director.
Food service director. Got all those kind of questions. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Get a second? Can't get a second, motion dies. Approve the request for fixed asset disposal.
Good evening. How you all doing?
Man, where'd you find that list?
Sir,
Where'd you find that list of stuff you listed on us on 65 pages?
sir, I'm trying to clean it up and clear it up. And we
Ma'am?
still, you see, we
We
still
gonna
got
have
stuff
that.
in here from 08, 07, 2010.
Oh, wow. We ain't gonna have nothing.
Oh, yes, we will, sir. Please believe me.
Man. 65 pages, ain't no good no more.
A lot of them, especially with the iPads cannot be updated. That's just with Apple, so if they can't be updated, it defeats the purpose in keeping them, because we can't put the up-to-date apps on there, the up-to-date programs that the kids or the buildings are going to use. So we would just have about 1,000 iPads sitting around not being used.
How old are
The iPads,
they? Yeah.
they vary. Some was bought in 13, 15, then the last batch was bought in 16.
You got 6 years you throw them away.
Well, with the software, it's actually a 3-year software, but these won't get updated.
So, we're gonna clean it up now.
That's right, we cleaned it up.
You asking us to destroy this, or get rid of this stuff?
That's right.
So it's like right now, they gotta find it in every school, every society. But they don't even get out of the pocket all year.
What does all that total up to?
As in, I didn't do it
All the 65
as a whole,
pages.
I did it by building. If I'm looking at 024, which would be, H of Nagler, they have 49 devices, so that would be $25,000 just for Nagler.
Yeah, I just wanna know what the total was, I don't want each one of them.
Okay.
Couple $1 million more.
This is still in the building. They don't need the buildings until it's approved to be,
Got rid of
disposed. And then I'll go in with the maintenance department and retrieve those.
But it ain't no good, we can get rid of it, so it won't be on ice at least.
Yes, sir.
Alright. I get a motion to approve.
I so moved to approve.
A motion second. Fixed asset disposal, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it.
Thank you all so much.
All right. Move and table and approve the pest security plan, 22-23.
I thought we were on number 9.
Yeah, the federal program
What did I
manager.
do with
Fifth page,
Mr. Holt?
Just a page.
number 9.
Mine goes from 8 to 23. No way. Number 9, approve to update the federal program.
I make a motion to approve.
The motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approval of revision into policy DJUC based on information provided, Senate Bill 2371,
That's the same thing we're
22-23.
going to approve. I make a motion to approve.
Been motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Approval of special services to enter in a contract agreement with Behavioral Attention and Development Capability Consultants LLC. Just doing what we've been doing.
Yes, this is our school psychologist that comes out of South Haven. Assessment of special ed students.
All right, can I get a motion?
Second.
And motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Approval for special services to enter in contract agreement with J.E. Fleming Educational Team. Who that?
This is our special ed consultant that helps us stay, making sure that we're in line with IDEA qualifications and our ratings. So this is an ongoing service that we've been doing for the last 3 years.
All right, can I get a motion to approve? Get a second? All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Approval of special services to purchase special education assessment kits and testing product protocols as sole source vendors.
Okay, we're having a problem with when we buy these kits, the kits are ranging from $3,500 to $5,000. You buy a kit, and you have to have protocols, so you can't make a copy of a protocol to use. So what they're doing is, each authorized vendor is selling their protocol. So you can't go from here to here to there to get that protocol, you gotta go back to that original source. So that's why we're asking for that. So we have all the companies that we can get the protocols from. So that's for my speech language pathologist, it's for my EI person, it's for everybody that provides services for our department.
All right, can I get a motion to that effect? Get a second?
It's exactly.
Get a motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approve of health service to renew SNAP Health Center Electronic Health Record System.
Okay, this one is mine also.
Sole vendor.
Okay, our nurses are using a software just for help, for school help. And so we can no longer get a quote from the only other company that's similar. So we were told to come and do a sole source request because the other company's like $3,000 more than what we're paying this company for, but they won't reply to any of us because it says Cleveland School District with our email address, so we can't get another quote.
All right, sole source. Can I get a motion?
Let me understand what you just said. Say it again.
Okay, so the nurses have to use software that has to be HIPAA and FERPA. And so it's only like 2 companies in the whole country that offers the software. The other company is called Frontline. So Frontline is like $2,500 to $3,000 more. So because we've been emailing them every year for a quote, they stopped replying. So all of my nurses have tried, I've tried, they would not reply to us because they know we're not gonna buy it. So that's a problem we're having with getting 2 quotes.
All right, now can I get a motion? Get a second?
Second.
Get a motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approval of special services IDEA 2023 application.
I'm asking permission to submit my application once I receive my FY23 allocation from MD.
All right, can we get a motion? Get a second?
Second.
Get a motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approved for Cleveland School District to enter into a contract of services with Strategic Solutions for Families.
As usual. I drew a blank.
Blank.
We resubmitted and those used to enter back into the adolescents to do our sexual risk avoidance training in the high school. Last year, we served 111 students, with 86% of those students completed at least 75%. We taught in Coach Strong's classroom, in health, and in PE, and we were able to work with the kids, and they were amazing, so respectful. They participated in the program. We delivered Choosing the Best. That is a state mandate that schools offer abstinence or abstinence plus education, and we do the abstinence with Choosing the Best, and we would like to go back to them this year. Costs nothing for the school. We provide everything.
I so moved.
That's good enough.
Thank you all.
Can I get a motion?
I moved.
All right, get a motion second, all those in favor?
Thank goodness it was
Opposed?
George.
Ayes have it. All right, approve for Cleveland School District to enter into a contract of service with the city of Cleveland for resource officers. Can I get a motion?
All of this is the same agreement that we've had for several years. City's paying
City's paying 50%, we pay 50%.
for officers. Whatever they get to use.
We're gonna work out something to work, something there.
That's the last one.
So number 3 and number 4 from 10 to 10. CBD, so we don't have replacements for those.
Well, the chief places them.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah,
so they're not
tell us who
named
the
yet,
chief
right?
I'm sorry, I got lost over there.
Number, officer 3, officer 4.
That's right, what happens is the chief will plug those in, the new chief, as they transition, the new chief will then designate who the SRO is, and then we'll get them, as the school goes along.
And the new chief is,
He
I
can't change.
personally don't know.
Oh,
My firm knows, I don't know, I've been out of the office for the last couple of days.
if we can pin a letter to the city of Cleveland asking for additional SROs, if we would like to discuss that. Our goal as a board would be like, we would love to have an SRO at every school in this district. And also pin the same letter to Sheriff Williams
For the two counties.
for the two counties, Fayetteville and Hayes. With the same agreement that we've had on these other things.
All right, can I get a motion to approve that resource officer? Get a second?
Go ahead.
Motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Whatever, ayes have it. All right, open bids for loan service, we got them in here. How many we get?
This is,
Two?
I have a question.
We go now.
Before we open those, I see schools are listed, why did we select certain schools?
Because they're larger.
So the larger campuses your contract?
Yes, ma'am. And then we have someone.
All that, good there. When we did this contract, I think this is, we're finishing up our third year with this. He made the decision of what school
So they
would
keep
get,
up.
the professional services. And then he does, his crew does the other schools, correct? And so, that's what we went with. It's his recommendation.
So we won't fall behind.
Gotcha. I was just curious, and someone asked me, so I wanted to know.
But everybody's getting served.
All right, this is Gary's loan service.
George, maybe I wasn't listening, because I was typing. The schools that are not being served through the contract,
District cut.
the districts will be cutting those on a
As needs
bi-monthly,
As needs pay.
it is
Oh,
weekly?
they come every Monday, it's actually,
Okay,
We got a schedule, Dr. Fairweather.
okay.
We cut every week.
Okay, good to know.
This comes to us too,
Yes, ma'am.
the landscape comes from the middle school rounds.
Well, they only do the front to the back of the middle school as far as the athletic, on the outside of the gate, the athletics is responsible for that.
They're responsible for the football field.
Yes, ma'am. Football field and the
And
grass.
then baseball, whatever they're
Right,
playing.
yes, ma'am.
But the front and the back, this company's supposed to do.
It's for in front and right behind the building, behind the school.
Whatever company we choose, I'm saying. All right.
There is a coach that's paid to mow that grass
Right.
there
All right.
and
The
the
field.
house.
The
The
field.
field, the
The
field,
field.
correct. But I have seen folks grass.
All right.
Slide.
Lawnmower, weed eating, is $7,000 a month. That's Gary's
Yeah.
Where you
lawn
from?
service.
He did it,
This year,
no.
2 years ago, last year.
why did we get rid of it?
We
What-
let out,
what the lowest
he
bid?
wasn't the lowest bid last.
But we're finding the lowest bid is not always.
It's not always the best.
yeah.
It's $5,100 a month.
One,
Bob Neighbor.
is that what we have now?
That's who has it now.
He ain't doing nothing, that's, do we say that? With our pictures and service. Am I right?
I agree. So, Mr. Attorney,
Yes, sir.
it's lowest, but if, all right, so we've got
We can always turn down fees. It don't matter if it's low or
how
high.
much is this?
5,100,
100,
7,000.
$1,900.
Like 20,000 a year.
12-month contract.
Any more addition?
Well, I think it's
Pick up limbs.
In other words, he's probably gonna mow it every week in May and June, and he's gonna mow it maybe once.
Do we have anybody monitoring these people?
Like Miss Harrington should be.
Checks on them. If they don't mow them, call them.
I can tell you this, like, that was one of the main issues when I first got here, was the grass. It wasn't, because we didn't have enough people, we had 1.5 persons to, cut all the lawn. So, we were getting complaints all the time, so we hadn't been getting any complaints about the grass, so. Then Mr. Hander does monitor them, cause he calls them and we'll say something, or we'll do a walkthrough or something, I'm going to a school or whatever, or driving around, and I say, Mr. Hander, what about this grass? He'd be like, okay, let me call him and check on it, or whatever.
I have had complaints in the last 6 months, year. You know, so I'm. if y'all
And we
want to-
did a cleanup at the Cypress Saturday. And nothing has been done at CPE
And they own
in,
it,
I don't think, the whole year.
and they own it.
And then we're paying them to, what they say, weed eat or something. They're not even doing that at PM. Someone came and cut hedges and left the hedges on the ground.
They're not in charge of trimming.
Yeah.
They got to trim trees and shrubbery. But shrubbery. Any shrubs up around the building, they're in charge of trimming
They
that.
trimmed them, but the stuff was
They
down
don't
on the
clean up.
ground.
They're not cleaning up.
They ain't anything either.
I'll go with you. That's what y'all want to do. Make the motion.
I make the motion that we reject the
Lowest bid.
lowest bid
Bob Neighbor,
about Bob Gary,
Gary's lawn.
and that we approve Gary's lawn care.
Give them a chance.
at $7,000 a month.
I
For
second that.
$7,000.
All right, been motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I have two bids. All right, discussion of policy JCDAE, weapons. We're gonna start a 6-shooter at the high school. What we need to discuss?
That is up to y'all. The Mississippi Department of Education has recently redacted or rescinded a policy of a total campus-wide ban on weapons to comply with Mississippi law, which in numerous readings does allow certain weapons to be put in the hands of certain people on school campuses, depending on if you have taken the enhanced carry class. This is a lot of push in response to Uvalde and campus shootings. And so now the Mississippi Department of Education and Mississippi School Board Association has said that they are going to leave it in the hands of particular school boards.
Oh, well, we really appreciate that.
It is not something that I feel sorry for the different school boards because there's no guidance. And so the guidance will then have to come from your parents, your teachers, your stakeholders, and the question of what y'all just discussed earlier, whether or not you have enough SROs on hand, what happens when something happens on campus, what happens when something happens on campus out in Marigold and you don't, so then it's a lot of questions. I don't think there's any true answer, any easy answer to this. And so I think before you make a policy, I think it would be wise for y'all to leave your policy in place as it sits, because as your policy sits, it says no student, employee, or visitor. And actually, there's another policy that covers teachers. It says none, unless they are an SRO or unless it is a shooting class. From there, I think I would back up and take another 30 days to look at this and talk to your parents, talk to your teachers, talk to your students, talk to your principals, talk to your different administrators and see what they think. I think you will be surprised at what you find.
So we all agree that the best solution is no guns on campus. In a utopian world.
In a utopian world, the best thing is no guns, no violence on campus. Unfortunately,
But
I'll
you're
take
saying
the
that
devil's advocate. The person willing to do harm cares not about a sign. He's not going to look at a gun sign and go, oh, it's a gun-free zone, I don't think I'll come in. That's the point, is that if it is a gun-free zone, the violent offender will still do what he wants to do. He won't care about the law. So then you look at whether or not you want to, A, restrict it totally, B, limit it under the enhanced carry class, or C, craft some special policy that says you better be really well trained before that happens. And if you do, then we're also gonna implement certain other things. I don't know, locks, and different, I can throw things at you all day long about this. I think what you wanna do is 30 days to talk to your parents, teachers, students,
Let's get some-
administrators, and principals.
See if anybody in the teachers want to show an answer.
That's right.
Principal.
What we gonna table it?
I think you wanna table it to get some feedback.
Second.
The motion table, seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. All right, remove from table and approval of human capital recruitment and retention strategic plan. Who is that? Who's for?
Three kids in the back.
That's the same plan that we looked at last time?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, can I get a motion?
Did you look at it, Holly? All right, I'll make the motion to approve.
Been motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Moving table and approval of sale action plan for 22-23.
Is that the school?
21.
Yeah.
This is John.
Number 21.
Yes, each school has a plan, and the district has a plan to make sure that the schools implement the social and emotional learning at each campus.
All right, can I get a motion that fit?
Make the motion to approve.
Been motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Moving table and approval of student handbook addendum, Mississippi High School graduation options 22-23.
And that's what we talked about previously.
We hope they won't include in that handbook.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Been motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Removing table and approval of the test security plan.
I was just looking at that test security plan, Mr. Johnson, it's still pretty much reading like it did last month. I don't see any changes, my concern is that this looks like the one when they had pencil and paper.
But we still have paper, kids who have severe disabilities, we have paper for them. Also, kids who have visually impaired, there are always gonna be a few kids that we test with paper every year. And those items are kept in a secure place.
Could it not be worded that way? Cause like, it looks like the entire, all the test material will be kept on the lock and key. You don't have lock and key, it's all computer based, isn't it? Could you check it?
So we could make the language reflect that.
I mean, it's the same thing that we had last month, nothing has changed. And we tabled it so that it would change, right?
Table it to review it.
I reviewed it, I told y'all I had read over it.
Did you ask for any changes to be made?
I did.
Okay. We'll table it again.
All right, we'll leave it on the table.
How would you like it worded?
I needed to be worded that you don't have pencil and paper behind lock and key. You don't need two people in it all the time. All that stuff is still in there. I did that.
You're saying the paper pencil, what were you saying?
You gotta have two people in the classroom at all times running computers. But not, you don't have to have two. The teachers and the administrators and the prosecutors have to come to my office and pick it up and walk down the hall with it. You don't do that anymore.
So, I'm with the students that have large print, the visually impaired, they send you the paper test, so it is still required for those that have to have that paper test You still have to have two individuals, because
And Ms. Holmes, when we transport it to Mr. Johnson, like, Claire, who's over our testing, she can't be by herself, like in the car, even with the stuff that she's giving Mr. Johnson. It's still like, you know how you're talking about I know we did that in the past, but we
what
still
I'm
have to do
reading,
it.
It's reading like the entire testing plan is like that.
so maybe what would help if you would specify,
Okay, yes, ma'am.
in your test security plan, specify what item.
Okay, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Fall test security training will be held on October 26, 2021. I'm reading directly from the plan.
Oh, I was talking about the.
But I'm saying the wording hadn't changed is what I'm saying. Nothing has changed in the plan. Stuff needs changed from year to year.
Okay.
On this paper.
Make a motion to table.
Second.
The motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Rules table improving IAG promotion and retention policy. Yeah, what was that lady talking about the history?
Yes, ma'am, that was me, Ms. Holmes.
History class?
Yes, currently the policy says that 8th grade is required to pass math, science, social studies, and English. With us offering, we do Mississippi Studies in 8th grade, Mississippi Studies in the corresponding course that's a half credit to make it a whole high school history credit. So I was just asking that we look at that policy and revise it so that social studies isn't required for promotion because it's a high school credit, so it can be treated as a high school course. So if they're not successful, they can do credit recovery.
Let me ask this question. If you're gonna offer Mississippi Studies in the 8th grade, I was under the impression Mississippi Studies was required for graduation. And if it's not required for those children to pass it, follow what I'm saying? It's no longer required for
Mississippi
graduation?
Studies is required it used to be Mississippi Studies and World Geography. World Geography is no longer required.
For Mississippi Studies.
But Mississippi Studies is, yes, ma'am.
So, if they don't pass the social studies class in 8th grade, they still go to 9th grade?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's why I'm asking for the revision.
Mississippi Studies at 9th grade, Ms. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am. We're gonna limit the number because we're gonna have it, pretty much he's offering it to all 8th graders. So that means at the 9th grade, I need to make the adjustment there. I don't need as many sections of Mississippi Studies because most of them will come in, but we will accommodate for any who do fail to have enough sections for them to retake it.
Okay.
All right, can I get a motion?
Second.
The motion second, promotion and retention policy, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, just one thing before you move on. Oh, and I meant to add this under your superintendent update. It was about any update on the Boys and Girls Club or where we stand on that? Is it okay if I bring that up?
If y'all, I'll say where. Jamie sent me some information about what they asked about, and I sent something back to her to amend. I haven't heard anything from her. I know she's been busy. She's been doing some other stuff. That's what we're waiting on, to have some dialogue with her. And I know we have a rep here.
We approved all of your changes.
So I'm just waiting on.
We're excited about it.
So it's moving forward?
It's moving.
Okay.
We're just waiting on Jamie to get back with us. So it's
that's
not
gonna be
dead.
housed in Cypress Park.
Cypress Park.
Okay.
All right. Approval of active applicant software.
Oh, well, I thought. Sorry about that. I'll make a motion to approve.
Active applicant, what is that?
That is the district's application software. Our current vendor, has, the price has almost doubled for the renewal, so we're going with a lesser, quote, which will work, well with our current system with Marathon, so it'll.
It's all. Just for you taking online application?
Yes, sir.
And that's the only way you can apply, online, correct?
Yes, sir.
It's all part of Central Access and SAMS and all of that, Marathon. It's another product that they offer, and they were half the cost.
Make the motion to approve.
Take a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, approval of personnel. Anybody got any questions?
Recusing myself.
You got another daughter?
I do.
All right.
I make the motion to approve personnel as presented.
Nancy second, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Move with adjourn.
We got those executive session.
Well, I had some stuff I wanted to discuss, and I asked some questions in the executive session.
You don't have the session, you got
You
something?
gonna put it on there?
We is.
Yeah, let's do that.
You gotta
I asked
state
just
your
a few
reason.
questions.
You gotta state your reason. We gotta.
State your
All right, I
reason.
just wanna ask, with some stuff that we tabled some time ago, we had to come back up. Number one of them is Bailey. What are we doing with Bailey? I don't remember approving Bailey.
Personnel.
No, that's not personnel.
There's gotta be a reason.
Oh, yeah, Ms. Howard, you remember? It's past to December?
We're waiting to get the forward.
Yeah, we approve, baby.
Until December.
Yes, ma'am.
And we'll look at it again, but we wanted to look at our proposal.
Look at the forward first.
Yeah. It
So
was till
with this
December.
audit report, like this part of the audit,
Y'all adjourn?
where is the actual audit report? Is that what, listed on Chad White's page? That's it. When will we get a copy of it? I seen it.
You got it.
You got
It's on the report. His fine, the audit,
It's fine.
that is
Right,
right
right,
there.
It's back of the book.
Okay.
Yes. And we can, we can go over this now. You do have to actually approve this.
Ms.
Not
Howard,
on the agenda, but we can.
Well,
add
you
it
need
for
to have
this.
another meeting.
are you talking about the state audit one?
Yes.
They haven't finished it.
Oh, no, we haven't done the state audit. This is just our regular
Federal.
financial audit.
So I saw this, okay, so there's something
That's
different.
totally separate.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I just wanted to make sure clear.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Got a motion to adjourn?
No.
Or we gonna-
One other question I have, I know you got one, go ahead, you got that.
You got anything to go to the
On the
executive session?
agenda.
I wanted to just talk briefly about PR, and I suppose we need to do that in executive session. It's not just a long conversation.
PR is not an executive session item.
No.
It's not? Okay. I recommend that the district, hire someone to take over public relations for the district so that it can, issues that come up,
David, this isn't an agenda item. I hate to cut you off.
that's okay.
But, you can ask what we put on the agenda for us to look at.
We went to
The
this.
superintendent.
I know that nothing's been done.
No, we hired somebody that ain't doing nothing.
Oh.
Well,
They didn't do nothing.
I know that, okay, just tell me what to do, I'll do it. But
Those are
all
the
right.
superintendent, George did put on the agenda.
For next month,
For next
Yeah.
month.
all right, George.
All right.
Okay, one other question,
All
Dr.
right.
Belcher. Last month, there was, we tabled also changing the director of VOTEC to.
We didn't change the name. We
Just
kept it the same.
changed it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's why you didn't see it back on there.
All right.
All right. We got that on for the agenda next month. Don't forget, Doc, we'll put that on the agenda.
Yes, sir. I got it written down right here.
Steven, you got it?
And I'll get a motion to adjourn.